All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me? That's weird. Yeah, you can hear me 'cause I can hear me. Okay, let me knock that out. That was odd. So for whatever reason, oh my lord, why are you doing this? Stop messing with my audio. Oh my lord. Wait, it's still gone? What the hell? Like I selected it on. Why the hell? Wait a minute. Oh my lord. Oh god. It's gonna be a long night. It's gonna be a long night, I guess. All right. What up, y'all? I appreciate y'all being here. I do find it kind of hilarious that I was talking to myself for the first like what 2 minutes of the damn podcast or live, whatever the hell you want to call it. But I think we're back. For whatever reason, the audio wasn't selected, so I think we're good. It's selected. I appreciate y'all being here, man. Uh, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by the lack of sound. We're gonna have a good conversation tonight. Roberto will be here in about 15, 20 minutes to join me. We're gonna talk about the future of YouTube since Susan Wojcicki has stepped down. So that should be a fascinating conversation. But now that I have sound, now that I have full sound on the app, let's get into the get in. So current time is 6:05 p.m. Central Standard Time, which means you are in the right place. You are on, I don't know if I'm in the right place, but you are definitely in the right place. And you are on the right YouTube channel, even without audio. You are on the right YouTube channel, baby. Yeah. So before we get to all that, this is the part of the live stream where I'm gonna tell you to turn your volume down. Because if you don't turn your volume down, I will not be held liable while you're complaining or your neighbor complain about you listening to some loud dude on YouTube. That's on you, not on me. That's on you, not on me. All right. I need to speed up because the man at hours in the back here. I don't want to keep him waiting too long. So let me go ahead and get this intro out the way, and then we'll get the roll call, and then we'll get into this live stream and see what type of conversation we have. Y'all crazy. Woo boy. Oh my goodness. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and we are live. Welcome to Friday Night Fight, baby. Woo! Oh, yeah. It is that day again. We are back. We are live on YouTube. Woo! Now, before I get started with tonight's festivities, let me see who I got in the chat tonight. First on the list is Sketch My Story. Hey, Mary, how you doing? Good to see you. We got my enforcer, Janosin's in the cut. What's up, Janosin? How you doing, my dude? We got the Tech God. What's up, Tech God? How you doing? We got Rebecca Yu. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing? I know we have some audio issues. We good to go. What's up, Mac Fixer DK? What's going on? How you doing, man? Trenton Tech out there causing trouble as always. What's up, bro? How you doing? Who let this guy in there? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Who is that? Spiritual Bliss is here. Hey, Miss Bliss, how you doing? Good to see you in the building. We got Justin Collins. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Appreciate you dropping by. We got Wisdom Empire here too. What's up, sir? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. We got Kyle Erickson. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? What's going on with you? Galen Gadgets is here. What's up, Galen? How you doing? Good to see you, my dude. Let me keep going down here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Let me keep going. I think I caught her. Did I catch everybody? Blah, blah. Oh, no. We got my man Valiant Bruce Start here. What's up, Valiant? How you doing? Good to see you, my dude. Who else we got? Let me keep going here. My head of security, LFA Review. What's up, Jeff? How you doing, baby? What's going on? Who else we got? Let me keep going. I think, did I get them all? Did I get them all? Let me, I'm scrolling. There's a lot of chatter tonight, man. We got Prince Revolver. Hey, Prince, how you doing? Good to see you. Barton Parker, what's up, Parker? How you doing, man? Good to see you up in here. Tech 702, what's up, bro? How you doing? Do not apologize, teenagers. I do not apologize. My homie from the UK, Marvin Wallace, what's up, bro? How you doing? Digital Slang is in the building. What's up, bro? How you doing? The Norwegian sensation, Elvin. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. So, without further ado, the man of the hour is in the building. Let me bring in my homie, the creative entrepreneurial badass and the emperor himself, Mr. Roberto Blake. What's up, bro? How you doing, man?
Brought my own cheering section.
We love a good cheering section here. We love a good cheering section, my dude. How you been, man?
I'm doing good, Viper. How about you?
I am good, man. I figured we like I told you on Twitter, we haven't really done one of these live streams in a while. And given the recent
Oh,
events
it's been a minute.
yeah, it's been a minute. And given the recent events, I figured it'd be a good time to reconnect and have a conversation about what it all means.
So what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the new CEO of YouTube? You want to talk about YouTube's lawsuit? Or you want to talk about what do you want to talk about?
All right. Where do we start? Okay, so for those of y'all who are not aware, and I see there are some questions in the chat. Before I get to that, let me go back over here and say what's up to Kia. Hey, Kia, how you doing? Good to see you. So, Susan Wojcicki, former now YouTube CEO, she recently stepped down yesterday she stepped down. She's been at YouTube for 9 years, but she's been at Google for, I think, 25 years. But I think she was the CEO of YouTube for 9 years. She stepped down. And unfortunately, as it is with the internet, there was a bunch of celebrating. People like cheering in the streets that she left, not understanding the impact that she has made for all of us on YouTube as a whole. I think YouTube is probably, and I'm not even proud, YouTube is a much better place. She left it in a much better position than what it was when she got on board 9 years ago. So, Roberto, Can you please, absolutely, can you please, Roberto, explain to the people what Susan meant to us as creators and to the platform as a whole?
Well, I mean, Viper, people need some real context here.
Absolutely.
Google, there would be no YouTube without Susan because Google would not have been in the position it was in when it acquired YouTube. I know I get some criticism even from people in tech around the whole, there'd be no YouTube without Susan, but it's you have to understand, Google would not be in the position it's in without Susan. And without Google being in the position is without Google, YouTube would not have survived without Google acquiring it. YouTube was founded in February 2005 by 3 former PayPal employees, and it was acquired by Google in November of 2006. A lot of people think that Google came in after YouTube was great and swooped in. YouTube was alive for a year and some change. It was in its infancy when Google came in with Google money, and ultimately Google and YouTube were sued into near oblivion by Viacom in 2007 for it was over $1 billion lawsuit. It was litigated for 7 years. People who don't understand, when you go to court in a lawsuit, and I have friends who are currently in lawsuits for exposing scams, for example, like my friend Spencer Cornelia. When you're in a lawsuit, typically if you lose, you pay both parties court fees. Viacom owns television. Viacom is one of the 6 media companies controlling the world. For those of you who Viacom, remember that from back in the people don't understand. Viacom owns Nickelodeon, MTV, believe VH1. Viacom's a big deal, and they were a really big deal in 2007 when they were suing Google and YouTube respectively for over $1 billion. You have to understand. They would have the $1 billion if they had won. They would have had damages. They would have had also 7 years worth of court fees. So what came out of that is the copyright and content ID system that we know and loathe today is because of that. And the reason I bring all of this up is because you have to remember, Larry Page and Sergey Brin founded Google starting out as Susan Wojcicki's garage.
Yeah.
So she was very involved from the very beginning of Google. And she was one of the first 20 employees of Google. And she was responsible for one of the big acquisitions besides YouTube, which was the DoubleClick ad partnership. DoubleClick was one of, I believe at the time, 6 ad distribution networks in the world. And Google acquired them. And as you know, Google is the largest digital advertising arm in the world. But that was because of a merger and acquisition with DoubleClick. You have to understand in tech acquisitions, it's acquisition acqui-hire. That's also where they got Neil Mohan, who's now going to be the new CEO of YouTube. He was acquired in the DoubleClick acquisition as an acqui-hire, an employee that was brought in because of the acquisition of we gobbled up another company. Google is the conglomerate it is today because it gobbled up a bunch of companies. People don't understand. Google gobbled up about 30 or plus companies to be what it is today, to be the Frankenstein that it is today. And what's the big revenue driver of Google? What has been the big revenue driver of Google for the last 25 years, Viper?
Ads.
Advertising.
Yeah.
And what was Susan Wojcicki's key role in Google before YouTube?
I think she was on the ads team, right?
Exactly. So you have to understand ads is what makes creators go. Ad money, ad revenue is what makes creators go round, you see. So
Right. So I
Susan
remember,
Wojcicki also influenced Larry Page and Sergey Brin. She was the one who
mhm,
encouraged them to pursue buying YouTube. And all of you need to remember, YouTube was not winning the video hosting wars in the early years, my friends. There's a reason
no.
Gary Vee bet on Vidler instead. Vidler was founded by our friend Rob Sandy.
Yep.
YouTube was behind Vidler for a minute. Google's resources are why YouTube won the video hosting wars, but also the Viacom lawsuit scared off all other investment in developing video platforms and user generated content sharing because no one else wanted to be sued by Viacom, Disney, and all of these six large media entities, you see. So you have to understand the history of the internet and understand the role that Susan Wojcicki has played in the history of the internet itself. And again, she's been at YouTube for 9 years, but she's been at Google much longer. She's actually now moving to the advisory board position with Google
Right.
and their parent company Alphabet. But again, she's been there from the very beginning of the modern internet, and she's played a role behind the scenes as a mover and shaker and power broker in this modern internet for longer than a lot of the biggest stars on YouTube have been alive.
So
So,
let's get into that a little
I
bit
mean, that's a
more.
big deal.
So I remember you were talking to somebody on the internet yesterday about this, and you have made the comment that Susan was largely responsible or played a big role in YouTube giving creators a 55% cut of the
Among other
revenue.
people, there were a lot of
Yeah.
people responsible for that, but she played a big role in it. I think that role is sometimes minimized. The partner program, by technicality, existed prior to her tenure, but as someone on the ads team and getting advertisers on board with this, this model as well and everything like that, there was a role that, she plays. Now, I wasn't at the company to have all these details, but again, I've been part of the internet I'm 38 years old. I've been part of the internet culture. I've been on YouTube since the beginning. I know the story of a lot of these companies, the beginnings of YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. Mark Bergen even has a wonderful book you can read that talks a little bit about it, that has some insider accounts, people he's interviewed. I'd love for more people that were directly involved to write their own books and their own tell-alls, and hopefully that happens one day. But it's not like there isn't documentation and well-established things we know about all of this as it came up. And it's not like creators haven't talked about their experiences of it. Like Philip DeFranco talks about how he was offered, access into the partner program when it was beta launching. He was offered that access, I believe, in 2008. And it's the only reason he was able to stay on the platform. He was thinking of giving up YouTube. I mean, can you imagine YouTube without Philip DeFranco? So a lot of interesting stuff to unpack there in terms of Susan's tenure and impact. What a lot of people complain about is they complain about things like the content ID system, but it's the only reason that fair use and fair dealing exist on the internet is the content ID and copyright system. It's the only reason fair use exists and is defensible in any way. We wouldn't have fair use and the ability to use things at all without it. I mean, yes, some people, they get copyright claims, copyright strikes, they complain, they whine about it, but it's really easy to not use other people's intellectual property if you're going to complain about it.
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is. And someone who made something has the rights to decide how it's going to be used.
You will
You're
hope
not
so.
entitled to it. They don't have to let you have it. They don't have
Right.
to let it go. They got every right to tell you, take it down or I'm taking the money. They got every right. They made the thing. You weren't there filming. You weren't there editing. You weren't there with them storyboarding that stuff out. You didn't perform it. You didn't go and you didn't show up on set that day. You don't have any freaking right to somebody else's content. You just don't. Like,
Roberto,
it's a nice
w-
thing if they let you have it.
would you believe me if I told you that when I tweeted out yesterday thanking Susan for what she's done for the creators with her time at YouTube, that one of the replies to my tweet was, "Why are you thinking her? She's the worst thing that's happened to YouTube." Would you believe me if I told you that?
I know that because a bunch of people are freaking ignorant. People are ignorant and everything. Like Viper people are ignorant all the time. People are so ignorant that they think Susan Wojcicki is the worst thing to ever happen to YouTube. People are so ignorant that they think like America's the worst or that capitalism the worst. There's plenty of ignorant opinions on the internet. There's a lot of it's like, look, there's a lot of idiots on the internet. Let's like not mince words here and everything like that. There are a lot of people that would struggle to rub two brain cells together, but can manage to tweet.
That is a good way to describe it, man. So the one thing that I didn't know in all the information that was being disseminated yesterday is that Neil Mohan has been at YouTube a long time himself. I mean, he worked with Susan back in the early days. So for those of y'all who don't know,
he's been with Google since the DoubleClick
Right.
acquisition. So he's had about he's been in the industry for about 3 decades. He's worked with Google for 2 decades, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
So Neil Mohan, for those of y'all who are not aware, is going to replace Susan as the head of YouTube now. For whatever reason, they're not using the terminology CEO. They're calling him the head of YouTube. I don't know if that's because
They may be restructuring their org chart
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the fact that things were shuffled around with the Alphabet Google parent
Right.
company restructuring anyway. They may also be changing roles and leadership terms and so on and so forth. He's going to be the leadership with YouTube. They might have decided to leave the word CEO in place during Susan's tenure because the optics might be that they would be diminishing her as one of the only female CEOs in tech if they change the terminology during her tenure. But they
Right.
may in general want to change the change the name of the role. There's also, God forbid, with what's her name over at the FCC in the Biden administration. I'm forgetting her name, but you know who I'm talking about, the lead on antitrust, and like she's doing antitrust stuff against Google right now. You know what I'm talking about? God, what's her name? You know who I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, you're not talking about Elizabeth Warren, are you?
No.
No,
The chair of the FTC. God, what's her name?
I don't know.
You know who I'm talking about? She took over after Ajit Pai left.
Yeah,
God,
I'm not familiar.
But anyway, but like she's the face of antitrust, right now. And they talk about breaking up Google. So, but if YouTube was to spin off as a company, I mean, they can talk about that, but you literally just got to make the rich richer because like YouTube would be $1 trillion company. So it's like, okay, cool. I buy the dip on Google when you break off YouTube. I buy the dip on Google. I'm going to get richer. And so is anyone with disposable capital. I'm going to buy YouTube when it IPOs at rock bottom rates and everything like that. You literally, all this antitrust stuff, even going back to Rockefeller, all it literally ever did was make the rich richer. They broke up the telephone companies when I was a kid, and like they're not less powerful, my friend. They're richer than ever. It doesn't work. But the reason I bring it up, though, the reason that I bring it up is because when they talk about it, it shows that YouTube is like $1 trillion company in and of itself.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
they might be thinking or positioning themselves and saying, well, if we have to restructure or we have to break something off, how do we want position or what do we want the optics to look like? So, I think that there could be something there. But yeah, they are, changing the terminology there, but it's the same function. Neil Mohan will be CEO in reality, if not in name.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be the overseer of everything that's happening with the company. Now, I don't know if he's watching. Normally, he's lurking or hanging out on the stream, but I see a lot of y'all in the chat vouching for Rene Ritchie for CEO. I don't know if he wants that level of responsibility, but that would be an awesome thing if it were to happen. But obviously, that's not happening. But shout out to Rene. He has done an amazing job since becoming YouTube liaison. So, Rene, if you are watching, man, we all appreciate the things that you've done since you've taken that job, man. So keep up the good work. Love you, man.
Yep,
And keep doing what you do. He's been amazing.
He's been great.
Definitely.
And it's like, I know who I was talking about. Lena Khan. Lena Khan is the head of the FTC and is pursuing the antitrust stuff against Google. Thank you, Barry. Lena Khan. Lena M. Khan. Yes. But Rene Ritchie's been doing a great job with the YouTube liaison position. The YouTube creator liaison position, previously held by Matt Koval, has gone far and above in transparency. And as much as people complain on Twitter, there's not much to complain on Twitter about YouTube about. They've actually addressed almost all creator issues that were legitimate. The one that everyone still whines about, and I will say whine, and there's a bunch of crybabies still cry about the dislike counter. I'm sorry that your negative opinions and your cancel culture pile-ons can't be validated, and you can't see a number there to see how many people agree with you, to make sure that you can sleep at night knowing that you're opinion and, your clownery and everything like that was supported. So I'm sorry that you don't have that anymore. It's been over a year. Get over it. It's been a year
Literally.
since the discount counter has been gone and nothing of value was lost.
It's not coming back either, y'all. It's not.
It ain't
Y'all need to
coming
let
back.
it ain't coming back, yo.
It ain't
It's
coming
not
back.
coming back.
I can hint at why I believe. I can't prove this. I'll tell you why I think it's definitely gone and not coming back. Because here's the thing. Because CoffeeZilla asked me a great question when I was doing the and he asked the same question to Matt at the time. Why if you did this findings and you had this case study and you figured out that this is really affecting creator mental health, why not publish the findings? And I'll tell you why they wouldn't publish the findings. In my opinion, I cannot prove this, and no, I don't have any insider leaks, but I can do math and I can read between lines. And I'm going to tell you straight up, Viper, by looking at even what was happening with Susan Wojcicki and her departure being celebrated so hard by people dunking on her and clowning on her, I can tell you that the findings most likely indicated that dislikes were disproportionate on the content of female content creators. I will tell you that that's probably what the findings revealed. And they probably found out and revealed that the mental health of female content creators was disproportionately more affected by dislikes than a male content creator, and that female content creators were probably less likely, women and girls are less likely to upload to YouTube after being dislike bombed than men are, or in response to men. I guarantee you the findings probably indicated that. And if you publish that, it just looks bad. It looks bad if you publish that, even if it's probably true. Even if it's a really good defense for your position, the optics on that are terrible, and it just invites debate and conversations that can be out of pocket. So why would they put themselves in that position when they can just deprecate a feature, let people whine, the majority of people get over it, because out of sight, out of mind, and knowing that in 5 years, the new crop of creators will only have known a YouTube where there was no dislike counter. The new users that get onboarded, mostly through YouTube Shorts, will never have experienced there being a dislike counter to begin with. It'll normalize it, just like most creators never experienced there being video responses on YouTube. Most creators never had YouTube annotations. Most creators have never experienced a lot of the features. I've known 20 features to be taken away from YouTube over the last 18 years that I've experienced. Most creators can't name most of those features because they've never been a part of YouTube while those features were prominent or relevant or being used. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
So, most creators today probably don't even know that you used to ever have info card polls on YouTube. They don't even know that we had polls in our videos before. Like all the creators who came on from the pandemic and all the viewers that came on from the pandemic, they never knew that feature existed. They don't miss it. You don't hear anyone saying, gee, I wish YouTube would bring polls back.
Or the star rating system
or the 5-star rating system. There's so many things that have been gone for even just a few years. There's things that have been gone only for 3 or 5 years. Nobody remembers. Dislike counter has been gone a year. You won't hear people talk about, dude, it's been like 3-4 years since live subscriber count APIs, where you could see people's subscriber count go down in real time. No one brings it up anymore, except for YouTube stats channels. No one even brings it up. And it's only been 3 years. It's only been like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
People forget things very quickly.
Damn right. It's like, it's not going to be this big deal. It's like, it's not something, and like the only people who really complain about it, there's really a couple of camps of people who complain about it. A lot of content creators that make content about other people, they complain about it because when they say something negative, they'd like to see somebody's videos start getting dislikes because that validates that their opinion and their commentary had an impact. So that if they can't see that when they criticize somebody that there's an impact, of course they want those that feature back. Same thing with seeing, hey, when I talk about someone or I make a video about someone, seeing their subscriber count go down. Yeah, they want to see that. So that's why they bring it up. But you know what's a real feature that mattered that YouTube should bring back? Community submitted closed captioning helps with accessibility. And it takes a burden off content creators who can't afford to do their own captioning and everything like that. That was a genuinely useful feature. YouTube took that away and it's probably not coming back. But it was also being abused by some people, some bad actors. But that could have been resolved. That was a genuinely useful feature. That's not coming back. And that is more damaging to have removed for more people who really need it than dislike counters have any impact on the platform. This is a real problem. And there was no outrage by comparison. There was no, people talked about it, but there wasn't all the outrage. There wasn't like, oh, and so it's nonsense. It is literally just people who are inherently negative on the internet and people who are terminally online who care about the dislike counter. It's been proven false that it hasn't made scams worse or made tutorials worse. So it's just nonsense.
So I want to turn the question that, remember last night when we were talking about questions that we would ask Neil Mohan if we had the chance, and you said that you would ask him about what was it a problem? What problem does he think that will arise, or that he thinks that nobody else sees?
Yeah, what problem does he see that no one else sees, and what is he working on to address or solve that problem? Yeah.
So I want to turn that towards you. So given that we now have a new head of YouTube, what problems do you see that you think will need to be addressed now that we are going through the transition?
I think that the perception of YouTube in the eyes of disgruntled creators, because even though I still think they're the minority, they're the visible and vocal minority, and they then are perceived by new creators and even new viewership as the voice of the community, when it's like they're just the loudest negative people. I think something does have to be done to address their concerns. I think that they need to feel heard in some way.
Yeah.
And I feel that that problem can be addressed in so many ways because their grievances are very particular and very limited. The first thing that has to be addressed is just telling them, no, we're not reintroducing the dislike button, and they need to just show all the positive data trends if they do anything. Here's where YouTube was before we removed this. Here's where YouTube was after, before and after, and everything like that. Here's these things. Or they just need to say, even if it's not 1,000% accurate, YouTube just needs to make some claim that this is like, yes, this is favorable to advertisers, and advertisers pay creators. So do you want to get paid or not? And then everyone will shut up. So that's one aspect of it. If anything, like create some narrative that addresses, that says, taking away this like counter is better for creators who want to ever do this for a living, and leave it at that. And if that's out there, you're like, yeah, you know what? Don't rock the gravy train, homie. Your opinions don't matter more than money. Like, and then just tell it how it is. Just like, YouTube just needs to come out and identify as a capitalist. Like,
here you go.
So that'll solve a lot. It's like, yeah, you'll just make a certain amount of people angry, but like for the majority, that'll work. So you address some of these concerns. I think their biggest innovative problem that they have to resolve is they need to aggressively do something about spam bots in the comment section, and they need to aggressively address the copyright system. I also think they need to address genuine grievances and concerns around censorship. They need to address genuine grievances and concerns around channel terminations. I think that channel terminations should be much rarer than they are, and that there should be a mandate of transparency around channel terminations. I think that that would buy them a lot of goodwill in the community, and it is a criticism that I completely support. I completely support the criticism around channel terminations, lack of transparency around channel terminations, lack of an appeal process that's more robust and more fair-minded. And I do believe that they have to answer for some forms of censorship. I do think that they need to address those things head on. And I think those things would buy them the most goodwill with the community. And I think that that should happen.
Now, there was some speculation yesterday that Susan might be bailing out because of some upcoming legislation in the form of, I think it was Article 230 that Congress...
Section 230.
Yeah. Apparently, Congress is set to decide on that pretty soon. And some people think that might be the reason why she wants to go away. But
not at all. I think her departure probably was pending. I think that Susan is most likely... I can't speak for her, but if I had to guess, I feel that she may have wanted to depart since the pandemic itself. Yeah. She's at a point and stage in life where she's a mother, and I believe she's a grandmother, and she's been doing this job a very long time. 25 years of a secondary career is a very long time. Working in the industry for decades is a very long time for anybody. I don't, even if you enjoy a job, committing to your work for like 30 years of your life, or an entire lifetime. If you have children, if you've been working the entire lifetime of your children, and now your grandchildren are little people now, you probably don't want to do that much longer than that. Now, that's not everyone will feel that way, but I think the majority of people will feel that way. And I think in a post-pandemic world, the majority of people could see reevaluating life and priorities. The thing is, you also don't want to leave your colleagues and the people that you work under you in a lurch, and you want to see them through a difficult time. So the thing is, I think she was probably wanting to transition to a different phase in life. And then you had this pandemic, and she probably felt that she had to, steer through the storm and see people through to, clearer waters, so to speak, an easier time. And now that the storm is past, I believe the timing on the legislation is coincidental. I think that she just wanted to see this through and see her people through the pandemic before handing off the baton. You don't want to give people the sense you're abandoning them in their darkest hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like you said, I think the timing was just right for her to step away. And look, Neil's gonna do fabulous, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
he's
we're gonna
going to
get
be
good
great.
things from Neil. He's a smart guy. He's been in it for a while. He was one of the people that were largely responsible for short being monetized, you all. So I mean,
Yes.
y'all need to understand that the dude has a good head on his shoulders and he knows
He's
what he's
been
doing.
the head of creator product. He sits above Amjad Hanif, who I interviewed as senior VP of creator product, and he sits, he was Amjad's boss, and like very solid. Marquez did an interview with Neil Mohan, if you recall.
Yep.
Neil Mohan also did a keynote at VidCon, I believe, in 2019, and I expect great things from him. I'm looking at his career with great interest. I think that he's a very product roadmap driven CEO. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he's very product focused versus policy focused. I think that coming from the advertising background, and with how policy affects advertiser comfortability and advertisers being willing to support the platform and support creators, I think Susan had to be a very policy driven CEO and leader, because I think you also had to establish norms. And I think YouTube had a lot of upheaval because of culture during her tenure. And I don't think she's responsible for that. I think she had to be reactive to that. I think a policy driven CEO has to be reactive. I think that a product driven CEO gets the luxury of being an innovator. And I think when you get to be product driven, you get to be hardcore on being on a problem solving, and you get to be a visionary and solve problems other people don't even see. I think when you're policy driven because of things like ad revenue, that you have to be reactive and you're a firefighter. So I think that Susan was a firefighter in many cases. I think Neil will be very much a builder. He'll be an engineer and a bricklayer.
Oh yeah. I had the pleasure of being on hand when they announced the short monetization out in LA, because they flew me out there for that. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I was there in the building when they announced that they were monetizing shorts and how they were going to go about that. And I was listening to him talk about everything that went into getting to that point and how he expected it to roll out and what can happen. And then that was the same day that they announced the whole creator and music initiative and different things like that. So
Yes.
like I said, I think the platform is definitely in good hands with Neil. I'm excited to see what he does with it. And as he told me on Twitter yesterday, he's excited to see what happens. So I'm excited for him, man. So
I'm
let's
very
go.
excited. I anticipate a more robust build out to shorts over the next 2 to 3 years. And I think that shorts will have best practices and stabilize in the next 2 to 3 years. The product roadmap and development for stabilizing YouTube live streams, it did take a minute. It took a really good while for that to happen. And now it's very good. And I think in 2 to 3 years, shorts have been in the same place. I think they were smart with the launch in India in 2020. I think when TikTok was banned over there, I think TikTok's on its last legs, to be honest with you. I think TikTok is waning in relevancy every damn day. I think that it's going to be banned in the US by the next election cycle, if not
Bro,
immediately
we've been
after.
saying it for 3 years, man. Stop it. It's not being banned in the US.
It's already being banned in the US, Viper. It's already been banned in like 28 states have already banned it in terms of no federal employees, no state employees, no government employees in 28 states are allowed
Canada's
to
a
use
lot
TikTok.
different from banning it for the entire country, Roberto. Stop playing.
It's not that different when both the Biden administration and the Trump administration, DOJ, have both come out and said that is Chinese spyware, is a threat to national security. And if a Democratic administration and a Republican administration somehow, some way, hell freezes over and they agree that something is a threat, then it's a threat, and they're going to do something about it at some point. They're bringing the head of TikTok to stand and before Congress. Did you hear about that? He's going to be having to give a testimony in front of Congress. This is like not a drill, my friend, and they've caught them red-handed in terms of putting information
multiple times.
But this time they actually, like, it's not speculation this time, for real. They have for real caught them red-handed with data to American data to the Chinese, and we're in a very tumultuous thing with that. I think that everyone was allowed to have some doubts when former President Trump was in office and he was talking big, but when you have Donald Trump and Joe Biden's people saying the same thing, it's over. And the thing is, that means whoever comes into office next is not going to be a friend and good ally to TikTok, whoever it is. And if it's a Republican, it's definitely over. So the thing is, you still might be over. It's tentatively over if a Democrat wins. It's absolutely over if a Republican does. And I mean, do you really want to debate that one?
It's just one of those things, Roberto, where I will believe it when I see it. We've been talking about this for 3 years.
I got you. But we got Chinese weather balloons now, man. Do you really think we're going to be friends with dude, we like, and here's the thing. TikTok can't, even if America doesn't ban it, TikTok can't scale because it's banned in India. It can't scale. Right. And you and I both know there's a market cap. If you don't have access to India, it's a market cap. And you and I both know that the future of all social media platforms is not the West, it's the East, because that is the new adoption of internet traffic, and it's the larger overall population base. The West and the English-speaking world is even the minority of users on YouTube.
Yeah, that much is true.
The most silver and gold play buttons exist in India right now, my friend. Most people don't realize that. The largest 2 channels on YouTube are both in India as well. Set India and T-Series are both bigger than Mr. Beast and PewDiePie. And it's significantly not even close. It's not even close.
Where? I don't even know where T-Series is at. I don't even lost track.
They are close to 200 mil.
What? Really?
Go look.
236 mil. God damn.
They can go to Viper. They can hit a $250 million. They could hit a $250 million.
They will. Yeah.
Yeah. They can go to 300 million more. Everyone is underestimated. See, this is what I'm talking about. Everyone everyone only looks through a US, UK, Canada, Western lens when it comes to social media. And the thing is, it's because we also are the central hub of advertising and ad revenues better here, but that's not a permanent thing as more market share and adoption comes and as other countries modernize. And by the way, Viper, there's still 50% of the Indian population that's not online yet. So their growth potential is absurd. So they're the future market in the global marketplace of the next few decades going forward. The future, we have market penetration and saturation in the West. There's no new user adoption to get in the West aside from new people being born. And then you still have a market cap. How big can the US get? We have 360 million people. How many people can we support in the US? What can we get to? 500 million? India's going to be at 2 billion. 2 billion, 2.5. India could go to 3 billion humans before the America gets to 500 million.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a market cap of users, you want the East, not the West.
It's funny when I'm looking at my audience demographics back in my YouTube studio. My number 2 audience is India. So yeah, they're definitely on the come up.
They're not fake subs. So no. It's not 200 million. It's not fake subs. It's that it's localized language, my friend. It's localized language. It's that they have the monopoly. They have the monopoly of content in Hindi. They have the monopoly of content in Hindi. This is why Mr. Beast adopted the strategy of going multilingual and why it's a company to do creator dubbing. Mr. Beast built and is co-owner in a company that does translation and dubbing, voice dubbing and voice acting in multiple languages for content creators, because the future scale is localization and localized language. It's also why Google is not only investing in captioning, but in also audio track dubbing, and why the big channels now can actually upload alternative audio tracks so that a video can be localized and translated not just in subtitles, but in actual voice language for another country. So, Sonny, it's not 200 million fake subs for T-Series and Set India. It's that they have the monopoly of localized language. And the reason that the most big YouTubers exist outside the United States is because those creators outside the United States have the monopoly of high quality content in their spoken language. And no one talks about that. No one talks about this.
Yeah, I was just talking to my dude Pucky Pachillo, who has a short channel over 1 million subscribers because he does content in Spanish. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and his
real.
English channel is growing as well. But I talk to him, I DM with him almost every week. And yeah, he's huge, but he has the monopoly. He has the monopoly on his type of entertainment content. He has the monopoly on that on YouTube and in TikTok. And he's just going to keep growing. Like he can get to, because he has the monopoly on his style of content for the Spanish speaking world, he could be a 10 million subscriber channel one day.
The way he's going, he's definitely getting there. Absolutely. He's on his way. So, Roberto, what do we think Neil would do first? Like, what do you think is on his agenda first now that he is the head honcho?
I would say probably he's going to really continue in the lane that he has been in up until now, which is very product development and product roadmap focused. However, I do think that he will be more public facing in terms of, talking to vetted creators, talking to the community. We will see him at more events and so on and so forth. I think that you can look to Neil to be his own man, but there will be elements, I think, that he'll take former CBO, Chief Business Officer, Robert Kinsel. There will be things he'll take and borrow, I think, from Robert Kinsel's approach, things he'll borrow from Susan Wojcicki's approach. And then, so I think he'll take 20% of theirs, and then he'll be 80% his own man. And I think that will just be more of what he's been doing up until now, but also just being more communicative with creators. But I think from what I've seen, he's going to focus on YouTube's innovation and technical superiority, which means YouTube will be feature rich and monetization rich more than it has been up until now. Like I said, I don't expect him to address policy that much. I expect him to be a builder. And I think that will mean that he will expand creator monetization like we saw with YouTube Shorts. I think he'll double down on the YouTube education initiatives. We know that there's a YouTube podcast launch thing. I think that he's going to take YouTube to dominance over the features of other platforms, even platforms that specialize. YouTube is going to become superior to Twitch at streaming. Even though Twitch literally specializes in only streaming, YouTube is going to dominate them. That's what I expect from Neil Mohan's leadership. He's going to dominate Twitch at the thing that they're good at. Shorts is already starting to dominate TikTok. It is. I know a lot of people are skeptical about it. It doesn't even have all the features of TikTok, and it is the biggest singular threat to them. And I see creators leaving TikTok every day. And here's the thing. There are no new TikTok stars, Viper. There are no new TikTok stars. There is nobody as relevant as Addison Rae, Bella Poarch, Kobby Lane, or the D'Amelios. There's no new TikTok megastars. There's no new household names. There are people who are growing on the platform, but nobody that relevant. There are no new celebrities coming out of TikTok. When's the last time a new TikToker became a celebrity?
Have you heard of Keith Lee?
Okay, ever heard of who?
Have you heard of Keith Lee?
No.
You might want to Google Keith Lee. that boy's major. And
name 3 more that are recent. Name 3 more recent TikTok stars.
Oh, I can't name 3 more.
Right. No one can.
I can't name 3 more.
No one can. That's my point.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that you just said that there's no new TikTok stars, and I just gave you at least one. I'm sure there's more than him, but
But you
major.
remember
He's
what
big.
happened with the rise when the TikTok was coming up. We were having like new hits and we were having all these
Oh
people
yeah, yeah.
coming out of nowhere and stuff like that. I'm saying that the thing that you need to look at with TikTok is not how much new user adoption it's getting, because that's just people aging up and being allowed to have phones. That's all that is people being allowed to have phones, young people being
Mhm.
allowed to have phones. The issue is, and yes, there are new TikTokers who grow and get 1 million or whatever. But the thing is, 1 million on TikTok might as well be 10K on YouTube. Like,
Oh
for
yeah,
real.
we've known that for a while. Absolutely.
Exactly. So I'm like,
I
so it's
mean,
not that I'm saying it's not that special to be TikTok famous. And TikTok famous is not what it used to be, not even close. And it's not going to be. I'm saying TikTok is waning in relevancy. TikTok doesn't even create new trends anymore.
to your point, to back up your point, YouTube has recently taken over the sponsorship again of VidCon, because last year it was TikTok, but this year it is YouTube again. So there is something to you what you're saying there.
I can name new TikToks. I can name new YouTube stars. Ryan Trahan for one. Ryan Trahan, massive, like relatively new, blown up creator and everything like that, killing it. He's a new YouTube star. So there you go. Here's another one. Max the Meat Guy. Max the Meat Guy is at 4 million subscribers. He's a pandemic creator and everything like that. Here's a new set of breakout creators from the pandemic. Abba and Preach are new breakout creators from the pandemic. They're huge. New breakout creators from the pandemic. You don't have to like them. They're kind of opposites attract kind of thing and everything. Fresh and Fit. They're huge and everything like that. There are new YouTube stars that come out fairly often and fairly regularly. People blow up on YouTube and year over year over year and get to millions of subscribers and do get massive relevancy and become household names. And again, 1 million on TikTok ain't 1 million on YouTube. 1 million on TikTok is like 10,000 on YouTube. There are creators that get million subscriber play buttons on a regular basis on YouTube. And that means something. And that's very different. And so it's not even close. It's not
Yeah,
even close.
yeah, definitely a relevancy as far as YouTube through TikTok. You're right, it's not close. I want to talk about the tweet that Marquette put out when all this news came down yesterday, and he was talking about how with YouTube you get creator award plaques, you get summits, you get the CEO goes on creator shows, do the interviews, and you don't see that from any other platform, higher up or
No,
anything like that. You don't see it.
no. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, none of them.
Nothing. Nothing. Why do you think
Closest,
that
you
is,
could
Roberto?
argue Twitch. You could argue Twitch a little bit, but Twitch doesn't do awards. Twitch damn sure doesn't listen to its creators.
No, it doesn't.
It's burning to the ground as we speak. It's always mired in controversy.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they do have events, but that's it.
Well, my question to you is, why do you think that YouTube is so far ahead of the game in this aspect? Like, why isn't other platforms doing things like this? Do you feel like they just don't care, or what?
Well, I think that it's their leadership, and I think it's their leadership, and I don't think their leadership has any connection to their community. YouTube has always had this connection to its creators, and YouTube was a gutsy startup that started with young people that were into culture, tech, and community, and people, and were very people oriented to begin with. So when you look at Instagram, that's not the culture of Instagram. And that's not the culture of Facebook for damn sure. And that's not the culture
No.
of TikTok. It wasn't the culture of TikTok. TikTok's CEO said that he built the platform to monetize unproductive and unemployed people. TikTok's founder, who's no longer with the company, the founder of ByteDance, and former CEO, he literally, you can go find this. There was controversy. People were dunking on him for it and everything like that. But he's a billionaire, so who cares? He's like, ha, I got my money. I'm laughing. Ha ha to the bank. It was like,
Right.
yes, I'm mocking you. But he literally said that he wanted to monetize the most unproductive and unemployed people in society. And so he built an app that would waste their time and monetize them. And it's like, that's pretty straightforward in terms of like, oh yeah, we don't care about creators. Now, I'm not saying that no one at TikTok cares about creators. I'm not saying that no one at Twitch cares about creators. I'm not saying no one at Meta cares about creators, but they don't care the same way that people at YouTube do. People at YouTube also, their friends and family, their children, and some of the employees, those people are creators in their spare time. A lot of people who work there, and they grew up watching creators, and they grew up believing in creators. They grew up supporting creators. and a lot of them, they wanted to either be creators or help creators. Look at Jarvis Johnson. Jarvis Johnson always wanted to be a creator, and he worked for Patreon, and he went there to help and serve creators. Then he started growing much more as a creator himself, and then he decided he had to make a choice, and he decided he wanted to be more of a creator, more than he wanted to build the tools that creators use.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about the creator economy, is that when you get to that level and you have that choice, you can make that choice to be your own person instead of helping a platform. So kudos to him.
Yeah. But I think if a platform comes along, and it adopts a lot of what YouTube is doing that Marquez pointed out, rightfully good. Shout out to Marquez, that Marquez pointed out. A company that did that would be the only actual competition YouTube would have.
Literally. So I want to go to the question that Angelique was posting in here about the thing that we were talking about earlier about 230 and how it could threaten YouTube. Do you think the thing has any? Do you think the thing has any legs, Roberto?
Yes, because it's going to be reviewed by the Supreme Court. So you know that they can make decisions or set precedents that. But now my hope is that they just kick it back to the lower courts. But I also think that they could politicize this, because they could use this as kind of a revenge-seeking tool to say, oh, how can we use this to hurt the party that we don't like? And then they forget that, well, at some point, another party will be in power, or another person will be in power that you don't like, and they'll weaponize this against you. It's like, and that's the problem with a lot of these geriatric politicians making decisions around technology, among other things. It's like, it's really bad, and they mess with these things they don't understand. So I actually am not excited that this is going to the courts and to our gerontocracy. I'm not really a fan of that. And again, some of them have petty grievances with their perception of the ideology of the tech oligarchy and the elite class of people in Silicon Valley. So again, this could be less about what's the correct adjudication of law and doing what's appropriate. And this could literally come down to partisanship, politics, or just being petty and taking revenge on people you don't like. And that's not a really good way to determine a rule of law that affects the free speech of billions of people. So I don't like that.
Yeah, anytime our current government, as it's constructed, wants to rule on anything creator related or 21st century related, you gotta get a little nervous, because they just don't know. They have no clue.
I feel like there should be almost a borderline, not quite as far as people thought, because Elon is even taking it as far as, like he said he would, and Elon's not been consistent on his free speech absolutism. But it's not that I think we should have free speech absolutism within tech and content publishing platforms. I think it should be damn close, though. I think there should be appropriate moderation and moderation tools. But I also think legitimately that it should be done in a way that makes it very difficult for censorship. And I think that when censorship is done, and it's done unfairly and it's applied, I think it should be punished vigorously, ruthlessly, should be exposed, and should be transparent and everything like that. I think that if someone's caught with their hand in the cookie jar, participating or building mechanisms of genuine censorship, that they should be burnt at the stake.
Definitely. All right, I'm going to interlude here because I'm using a new software tonight, and it has a cool new feature that you all can get to interact with the live stream if you wanted to. So, for those of y'all who are here last week, you know that if you were to scan this QR code that I just put on the screen here, that will take you to a website where you can make a video and ask a question or a comment. Yeah, that's dope. And then I can put it on stream here. Last year we had one from Trenton. Last week we had one from Trenton. So if you guys want to ask a question of me or Roberto tonight, you can make a video and scan the barcode, go to the website, make a video, send it in, and I will put you on the stream tonight, and we can answer your question. So feel free to do that if you want to do that. Sure. Yeah, right there for you.
That's cool. That is dope.
That is definitely
I bet you I could do that with StreamYard if I wanted to. I bet you I could just make a graphic and then use it and put it in and do that.
Oh, bro, I don't doubt it. So what I want to ask you. Blah, blah, blah,
okay.
Blah. Oh, that's what I got. So Roberto, it's funny, right? Because I've been on YouTube 5 years. You've been on YouTube longer. But it seems like just now, something that has always been a problem is starting to come to the forefront more so here in 2023. I'm starting to see some videos and some creators talk about plagiarism in 2023. Now, as far
in
as
what regard? In what regard?
And their style being copied, their thumbnail style, their content being copied by other creators, different things like that. I mean, this is where we're at. And my thing is, this stuff's been happening all the time. I'm surprised it took this long for it to come to the forefront. But
I don't think it matters.
You don't think it matters?
Not really. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Thumbnail styles and thumbnail art and things like that and everything like that, I don't think you should directly copy and paste somebody else's thing. And I think it's distasteful, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. And here's my point on that, Viper. People are really going to sit there and they're going to cry and scream and kick, scream and moan and like everything about someone biting their thumbnail style or their video style while literally using copyrighted music, copyright clips from multi-million-dollar productions that they didn't participate in. Come on, man. Like that's kind of like that's where I lose some sympathy is like if you're taking now again, there's creators who make everything from scratch. I have more sympathy for them, but I don't have much sympathy for a creator that's literally using footage from multi-million-dollar productions that had 200 people on staff that they didn't write a check to, that they weren't there, day in and day out doing the lighting and rigging and running around, didn't buy the camera equipment, none of that. So like if it's someone who did the original content, that's one thing, like Mr. Beast, for example. But like I don't like when fair use creators then scream and cry that somebody is like biting off of them. I'm like, that's kind of hypocritical. And most creators are in that position. So there's not this thing of like, oh, my title, oh, my thumbnail. It's like, really? And then how original do you think you are? Do you think there's no one in the history of who ever came up with that? And that whether you copied them or not, like you aren't the first person to think of something in most cases, right? So now I also make and sell templates in my business as part of my like business model, which is literally, hey, just barely remix this. Hey, do your own thing and everything. Now, I think the most successful creators make original stuff. Even with thumbnails, we're seeing less of a reliance on graphic design and more of a reliance on good photography, good set design, good staging, good prop photography, good lighting, and also good Photoshop manipulation skills of said photos and stuff like that. So in terms of that, it's not even about like titles and fonts in thumbnails and stuff like that. It is really about crafting and building something unique to begin with. Creators who are truly original can't truly be duplicated for the most part. You'd have to actually rip them off because they built what in business is called a moat. They built a moat, and that means that the level of difficulty to replicate them is not cost effective. It's not cost effective. One of the smartest things Mr. Beast does is blow all his cash, because the thing is, he literally made a business model that's not that profitable, that has razor thin margins. There's not a financial incentive to do what Mr. Beast does. There's a high risk of failure to try to copy him. And even then, if you do, you're also just going to be a Mr. Beast clone and ripoff. So you're derivative on top of that. So you risk failure that you may not recover from. You spend a lot of money, have razor thin margins, and you're still going to be called a copycat. There's not a lot of upside to competing with Mr. Beast. So he made his economic moat to the point to where he's in a niche of one, because you can't afford to compete with him, because you can't afford to try and lose. No Amazon doubt. Did the same thing. You can't try to spend the money that they spend only to be second place. It's not worth it. It's not worth spending the money to compete with Jeff Bezos and come in second place or third place.
Not at all. All right, we got a question in video form from Angelique. So let me put this on the screen here, and we can get it out.
Hey guys, I just wanted to say hi. How freaking dope is this?
This is very dope.
It's very dope. Thank you, Angelique. Appreciate that video comment. So thank you for watching and participating. Always good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, that's one of the cool things about this software. I can just basically implement the video QR code.
Who makes Opus? This is Opus Studio. Who makes this?
I don't know who makes it. I just know Opus is the brand that runs it. I don't know who makes it, but I can find out for you later on.
Okay.
Wisdom says the QR code's not working. I'll put it back up for you if you want to drop a video in. So try scanning it again. So yeah, it clearly is working. So I don't know what's going on your end, but yeah, scan the QR code. It'll take you to a site where you can make a video, and I can put it on the screen like I just did with Angelique. So there you go. So you told me yesterday that we are both heading to San Diego next month, and you're going to be speaking, right? I think that's what you told me, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Social
Any
media
idea what
marketing world.
your so any idea what your talking going to be about next month?
It's around video content strategy. It's a
Okay.
content strategy. A lot of the people there are definitely going to be older, more professional, and everything like that. And we're going to talk strategy specifically around video content creation. Obviously, um, like that's going to focus a lot on what to make. There's going to be some workflow stuff. There's going to be a lot of understanding the audience. There's going to be a lot of stuff. I'm going to get to introduce some of the mental models and frameworks around strategy and things like that. Primary example is there is a framework that I teach in Awesome Creator Academy with my coaching clients and students around thumbnail creation. We call it Vibe. Make it visually interesting, inform the viewer with storytelling, make it bold in terms of color and contrast and the photography elements, and make it eye catching from the start. So Vibe, VIBE.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But like, it's something easy to remember that says, if I don't do these things, it's not a good thumbnail.
Yeah. And also, speaking of templates and things like that you're making, I heard you say that you're going to be expanding on your YouTube starter kit and your brand deal starter kit, right?
Yes, there are some updates to that launching this week, if not this weekend. And so that's dope. 10 new thumbnails in the YouTube starter kit. We're also going to sell those 10 thumbnails as their own small bundle by themselves for people who don't want to buy a big bundle. Here's like just 10 really good thumbnails that anybody can use. So we're going to have that. The brand deal starter kit. I'm doing a workshop on the 25th. It's a paid workshop around brand deals. It's going to be a 90-minute workshop with the Q&A. And so we're doing a paid workshop around that. Okay. Also, with the brand deal starter kit, we're adding the email swipe files to the brand deal starter kit, so that you have emails pre-written for you to reach out to brands. So we're adding those.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's on top of we have 2 styles of media kits in terms of having a media kit to represent you to put out there to brands. So we have those as well. So a lot of resources and a lot of the information for just like approaching and reaching brands. Also, the brand deal starter kit has a list of 100 brands that work with creators. When I launch the brand deals course will actually have 200 brands plus that work with creators in that one, and we'll have more assets and resources as well. And it'll be like a video textbook on everything you need to know for working with brands. Red flags and we cover a lot of this stuff in the workshop too. Red flags when you're working with, like, to not work with brands that could scam you or your audience. So we'll teach on that. We'll identify like boundaries that you should set working for brands, negotiating contracts, getting paid on time. That's a big one. Knowing how to price and package yourself. A lot of creators leave stuff on the table because they don't know how to sell themselves or what something's worth. They price by views. We're going to talk about the software, and I'm going to show you the actual software tool that most of the brands use to analyze a creator's account and vet them. So you're going to see how brands are vetting you and what they see when they look at a creator. And you can't find this stuff when people, I can find everything for free on the internet. No, you can't. You cannot find a comprehensive list of 100 plus brands that work with creators. You'll find a list of 20 or 30, but you're not going to find 100. And you're going to sit there and you're going to waste time. Like when people say, I can find this for free on the internet, all they're saying is that they'd rather do the effort for less than minimum wage than pay for it being done for them.
Definitely.
So if your time is worth less than minimum wage, then go for it. But but you're just wasting time.
I have a saying, you get what you pay for. So there you go. We have another video from my man Winston Empire. So let me throw him up here and see what we got.
My coaching clients.
Hey, what's up, Viper? I finally got through it. I don't know what's having technical difficulties on my side, but this is Winston Empire. Just want to check in, say hello to you and Blake and everybody else who's watching the stream tonight. Deuces.
Appreciate you, Wisdom.
All right, next time you call in, though, man, I need you to turn us down on the background, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sonny. A lot of when you say most YouTubers, most of the big YouTubers work with agencies for their brand deals and to reach out to companies for partnerships. And so they work with either individual agents, or they work with talent agencies or talent managers or PR firms. But when you say that, you're thinking of the big, most of the bigger creators. A lot of the mid-tier creators still do their own thing. The smaller creators, obviously, a lot of them do their own thing. For some people feel like representation is worth it, but they give up 20% to have that. A lot of people are like, no, I'd rather keep everything and do it myself. And then a lot of people also want to be more picky about their deals. And again, some people just are not comfortable working with an agency at all because they don't like somebody else in their business in that way. So it's a preference thing as to whether some agencies don't work with everybody. Some agencies actually only work with a niche or a certain type of creator or creators of a certain size. They only have brand relationships with companies that reach certain demographics. So it might be that. Like there are agencies that, for example, are female led and they only work with female content creators, and the brands they represent only deal in those markets domestically. So they would obviously niche down to only that. So there's a variety of that. We actually talk about that in the workshop. And then in the course, we're going to be covering that around how to work with those agencies and with those talent managers. But the thing is, you do give up a percentage. Now, market industry rate of percentage you give up is usually 10 to 20%. Almost no one will take 10%. It's usually going to be 20, but it should never be 30. But that's usually what market rates are. Some people haggle to 15, but it's normally 20. And so, but it's very much a eat what you kill thing, meaning they get 20% of the deals they get you, not deals you got on your own. You keep all of that. They shouldn't be taking any of your AdSense. Again, it's another red flag we talk about, is things like that. But even creators with 100,000 subscribers, a lot of them don't have representation. So just be aware of that.
Roberto already answered the question, but yeah, the agents definitely get a cut. I mean, that's how they make money. I mean,
yeah, why would they do it without taking a cut? Now the question becomes, do they take a cut or do I pay them up front? And it's no, they take a cut.
Yeah, because
I could see the question being, well, what if I pay them up front? But they're not going to do it for free. I think I don't think that's what Sonny was implying. I think he was wondering whether you pay up front or do they get it on the back end by taking a cut, and what is the amount that they take. But in general, though, I do think that a lot of the creator community, especially the younger creator community, thinks everything is free or should be, and they're shocked when their things turn out to be transactional.
Yeah, things that are not free. No, not at all. But I think the big thing when you are working with an agency, though, like Roberto said earlier, make sure they're not trying to gouge you. I mean, some of these agencies will come up and gouge you if you let them, but they shouldn't be taking any more than 20%, literally.
Yeah, it should not be. Like, there's not enough most of them would even bring to the table that's worth more than 20%, to be honest with you.
No, not at all.
The other thing they bring to the table is they can usually get you a higher rate than you can get on your own, but not always. Sometimes I've been able to get higher rates on my own than what they've gotten me, but sometimes not.
Hey, River, if you are listening, if you want to leave a video comment, all you have to do is scan the QR code that I'm going to pop up on the screen here. You scan it, and then it will take you to a website where you can leave a video comment, and then I can put it on the stream here tonight. So just scan the QR code with your phone or whatever device you got near you, and then go to the site, leave a video comment for us, and we'll play it. That's how it works. Just that simple. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know, put in the chat, or if you also want to leave a video comment from me or Roberto, scan the QR code and make your voice be heard, man. It's a pretty cool feature. I like when you all use it. Hey, Valak, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Like I said, you've been all over my Twitter feed lately, so I went to checked out your channel, and you are making some bomb content, and I am floored. You said you started making videos back in 2022 of April, and you're already at 13,000 subs, man. I mean, I see why, though. I'm like, what the hell is that? I see why, though. I see why. So you make amazing content, man. So shout out to you. Keep up the good work, man. I will definitely be watching your S23 coverage since I just got one of my own. But kudos and thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. No doubt, man. No doubt. Wisdom wants to know, Roberto, do you know anything about Amazon Live?
I know quite a bit about Amazon Live. Right now, it's one of the most underrated ways that a creator could be making money with the Amazon Influencer Program. Also, a lot of creators are not using Amazon's creator hub to upload video reviews of their products. And someone could literally go into a very nice category that has high margin, and there's almost no video reviews, and you'd get the affiliate commissions as a creator if you're in the Amazon influencer program. So it's like one of the most underrated ways to make money that's just sitting there waiting for people to do it and everything. I'm surprised more people are not taking advantage of it. It's absurd to me that more people are not taking advantage of it for how much money they're leaving on the table. I think it's just a not knowing about it. Like, and you could use Amazon Live. If you use the RTP, you could use it with StreamYard or Opus. I guess you could use it with Opus with the RTP, and you could do it with, your full camera setup and not just from your phone. And so I think a lot of it is just that Amazon's not marketing it very well, and Amazon is not making it as seamless and user friendly as it could. And a lot of people just do not realize it. And in general, a lot of people just feel like they aren't big enough to make money with the Amazon influencer program. So a lot of them, they don't try very hard, or they try very passively. They don't watch videos on like my stuff with affiliate marketing. So they have no idea how much money they're leaving on the table. If I sell a good Sony camera lens Viper, I make somewhere between $50 to $90 on a commission for something like that. That's one sale. You realize how hard it is to make $50 to $100 on YouTube ad revenue? You could literally make it on 1 to 2 sales if you were in the camera niche. Again, not everyone will be in the camera niche, Roberto, but it's just an example. If you make one sale and it's even $5 or $10 commissions, it's still easier to do that than it is to get $10 off of YouTube. It is easier to get $10 as an Amazon influencer than it is to get $10 from YouTube ad revenue. And it's not even close. It just is.
Absolutely. All right, we got another video. This time we got River checking in. So let's talk to River real quick.
Hey guys, happy Friday. I'm about to pull a pizza out of the oven and I'm stoked on that. And I think we're starting phase 2 of the MCU tonight while I'm taking Logan through all of the MCU for the first time. So wish us luck. So far, so good. He enjoyed the first Thor, weirdly enough. But yeah, hope you guys are doing good. I need to catch up with you soon, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And thank you for dropping that video. Wow, that should be a fun night catching up with the MCU. That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, man. It's been a while. Phase 2, that takes me back.
Yeah. Are you going to go see Ant-Man at some point this weekend or in the future?
I might see it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm just not excited about Ant-Man in general, man. I might wait for Disney Plus, to be honest with you.
I was excited about enough the first Ant-Man, and I was fine with Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm just like, Marvel ain't hidden like it used to.
No, it's not. Jonathan says it's good though, so I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a good movie. But like I said,
I'm sure I'm about some Kang the Conqueror. I'm about some Ant-Man. I'm about some I'm good. I mean, Loki, yes, please, season 2, yeah. Like Loki was the dark horse. Everyone thought Loki was gonna flop, and Loki ended up being the best MCU show out of all of them.
Yeah, Loki ended up being pretty good in the end, definitely.
Loki was the best MCU show. I'm like, no cap. Loki was the best MCU show out of all of them.
Jonathan says I'm good on waiting for Ant-Man. Yeah, I'm just not a big Ant-Man fan. Like I'm pretty sure movies are good.
I don't even know if I'm really that excited about even just going back to the movie theaters in general. It's like movies have been kind of like trash in general lately. I mean, they just ain't hidden like they used to.
Yes, but let me tell you, Roberto, when The Flash comes out with Michael Keaton and Batman, I'm there day one.
I'm grudgingly seeing that. I'm grudgingly going only. I'm going for Michael. I'm going for this. But it's like the Ezra Miller stuff and the fact that he still gets some. Like I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
That part sucked. But I cannot miss Michael Keaton.
But I'm not gonna miss Michael. You're right. They got me. They knew exactly how they. They knew exactly what they're doing. They knew exactly how to drift me. They straight up drifted me. They know they gave my $20. They know they do. They know what they're doing. And good for them.
They knew what to do. They knew the assignment, yo. The moment they put Michael Keaton in that trailer, it was over. They knew what was up. They knew what time it was.
Like I'll tell you how you win at capitalism. You win at capitalism, Michael Keaton. That's it. It's like that's all you need. That's all you need. Seeing him in that bat suit again, when I was 4 years old, I begged for that VHS. And that was my Christmas present at like 4 years old. The Batman Michael Keaton VHS and the Michael Keaton version of the Batplane with him with the ejector seat and with the grappling belt string attachment and everything like that. That was my 4-year-old, and I still have it in storage somewhere. Not completely, it's broke. There are parts of it that are missing, but I still have that 1980s bat plane with the Batman figure, with the grappling hook belt and everything like that. That was my Batman. That was my Michael Keaton. And it's like I might have only been maybe 6 or 7. I fell in love with Michelle Pfeiffer on screen. It's like still to this day.
She is 64 years old, Roberto.
I don't care.
I know, right. Yes, she is.
I don't care.
She is fine up today, Roberto. Today. Yes. Yeah.
Still got
Michelle,
it.
We love you, Michelle.
Still got
it. Still got it.
Love you.
Never
you
lost
still
it.
Stand. You still got it.
Damn
it's
right.
Like, that was my Batman. That was my Sorry, George Clooney. Sorry, Val Kilmer. That was my Batman. That was my Batman.
George who? Who are you?
George Clooney. Yeah, with that era of Batman, so annoying.
Terrible.
Terrible. It's like, I will give props to Uma Thurman for her Poison Ivy.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. Like the rest of it, it's like Jim Carrey. I see what she was doing or trying to with the Riddler. It was too silly for me. It needed to be darker. You're capable of dark. The mask was great. You could I need better writing. And it's no offense to George Clooney. I think George Clooney can be a great Batman. I just think it's like, you got to write it dark. It cannot be there's humor in Batman, but it's dark humor. It's not camp.
Batman is not a comedy. It's not campy. No.
You can do camp when you're doing Eartha Kitt and doing Adam West Batman, which I grew up with also. You can do Adam West Batman, Eartha Kitt, and that cadre of people. You can do camp with that, but that's about it. And even that was still somewhat played straight. So I'm like, but I do feel Christian Bale did a great job with in the Snyderverse Batman, and that was fine. I like that down to
You mean Ben Affleck?
No.
Ben
Before
Affleck
that.
Snyderverse.
So it's not Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Snyder was a producer.
Nolan. Yeah.
Nolan, but Snyder was a producer, but Christopher Nolan. Yeah. Sorry, you're correct. Yep. But Snyder was a producer on that. But yeah, Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale's Batman series. Right. That was fine. It's like I know people dunk on it, but it's like I like bait. It's like peace has robbed you of your strength. Victor has defeated you.
Yeah, your punishment must be more severe. Oh yeah, Bane at the class.
No, brother, they must find one of us go down with the plane.
Love it. Yes, there was some. I saw something on Twitter the other day, and there was like some 1-inch scale. There was a 1/6 scale Michael Keaton Batman, and there was also I think a 1/6 scale Batmobile. But they wanted like $700 for the Batmobile, like $200 for the Michael Keaton. Like, damn.
I'm a responsible
Batman,
adult. I would do it, but I'm a responsible adult.
No, right.
But like, I mean, I make good money, but even I feel like, because I'm sometimes I'll do a little something nostalgia wise like that because I'm a big old nerd. But I'm like Mr. Frugality. You already know I'm Mr. Frugality.
Oh yeah.
But there's exceptions to that rule.
Oh, sometimes you got to break, man. Sometimes you got to break. Yo, trust me.
I'm still too big of a big kid to like not. To not do that.
Yeah, it's tempting to tell because it looks so lifelike too. It's so tempting, but that money, I can't justify that. All right, let me take a detour for a few minutes. I'm sorry, this might bore you, Roberto, but it's okay. You'll survive a few minutes. So I know some of y'all want to know my thoughts on the S23 Ultra since I grabbed one this morning. I got a good deal.
This doesn't bore me that much. I mean, the camera's tremendous.
Oh, have you had a chance to play around with one?
No, but I've seen I'm in photography YouTube, you know me, so I see all the pictures.
So yeah, I got a good trading deal from Verizon this morning. I said, what the hell? Why not? We got the S23 Ultra here in cream. So far, I'm loving it. And what a lot of tech YouTubers have been saying about this device, I have noticed to be true. It is crazy smooth for an Android. Like usually when you're using an Android device, there's some stutteriness, some jitteriness. Things just aren't as smooth as they are on iOS. But this is the closest I've come to iOS in any Android device ever. Like, it is crazy how smooth it is. And I think it's just because Google, Samsung worked with Qualcomm to optimize this chipset in here because the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is made for Galaxy. It's particularly made for this phone. And I am so happy for the rest of the world that you guys are finally getting the Snapdragon chip and not the Exynos chip, because you all get to see what we've been experiencing for the last few years. And this is the best chipset possible that could be in this phone. Obviously, I haven't had it long enough to comment on battery, but from the few hours I've had it, battery does seem pretty good. I've heard that you all have been having amazing battery life with the 8 Gen 2 chip. So, yeah, I'm loving it, man. And I told you guys before, the Galaxy Note phones have always been my favorite Androids. And even though this is technically an S23 Ultra, we all know this is the Galaxy Note in spirit. So I love the fact that even though I don't really use it much, the S Pen is in there. It's in there by default. I love the boxy style, the shape of it. I also love the fact that it's not curved on the edges as it used to be. So they kind of rounded it out a little bit. So I definitely appreciate that. So yeah, so far, I'm loving it. The camera, y'all seen the pictures I've been posting on Twitter. Camera, portrait mode, edge detection, A1. Yeah, this is going to be a hard device to beat this year for Phone of the Year. This reminds me of what happened with the iPhone 11, right? Because the iPhone 10 to the or the 10s or whatever to the iPhone 11, it was all about refinement. And if you looked on paper, the jump wasn't that big. But when all the little incremental refinements added up, it made the iPhone 11 one of the best iPhones ever. And I feel like Samsung has achieved something similar with this S23 Ultra. The refinement from the S22 to the S23, there's you can't really see it on the outside, but when you use it after a while and you just appreciate all the little incremental upgrades that they made on this particular device, it turns it into an amazing experience. So even though technically it might not be much better than the S22 that came before it, those of us that have used the S22 and now are using this thing, we understand the incremental refinements and the myriad of them that have trying to combine to create this experience. So kudos to Samsung. This is an amazing device. I'll definitely have more thoughts in the future, but those are my thoughts, you all. I'm loving this device. Awesome phone. If you are considering getting one, you're not going to be sorry. So there you go. All right. So what else is going on in the life of Roberto? What's on your mind tonight?
I'm editing a video for YouTubers about ChatGPT, so that video should probably be dropping tomorrow.
Oh yes, I'm glad you mentioned. Let's talk about ChatGPT.
Let's talk about it.
Listen, I understand that ChatGPT is an amazing tool, especially for creators and people that have to come up with ideas and people that just need a little assistance and different things like that. But I was never really I was never really in all the way. I'm like, I mean, it's nice, it's good, but I was like, oh my God, it's not going to change the world.
It is.
What? Oh, you said it is?
It is.
I mean, if it could stop making shit up, then yeah, maybe.
It's not that it makes shit up; it's that it lies. But that's only if
what difference does it make?
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. There's a difference between just making up random goofy shit, and then there's a difference between intentionally lying for a reason. There's a difference. But for 95% of people, they're not going to be asking it stuff it needs to lie about or things it's going to get wrong. It's really good at math.
Yeah, I would hope so.
It's going to make me rich because it just gave me no, I'm serious, Viper. I just used it to develop my investment strategy.
Okay.
Because I ran it on math. I asked it because it can get accurate. So there's things that are mathematically charted that are absolutely empirically accurate that are verifiable, which is in this sector of the market, which stocks have performed to this percentage consistently in the last 10 years. That's like something it can't get wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because that's like a very specific, that's a mathematical question, is what stocks in this sector of the economy. So you could take healthcare, energy, whatever you want, tech, whatever you want, and say, okay, find me 12 stocks and list them and give me the 10-year annualized return percentage for stocks. Give me 8 stocks with an over 20% annualized return averaged over 10 years. Because, you long-term hold, especially for tax reasons, and say, okay, in this market sector. And then you say, okay, cool. And say, hey, list those and list their 10-year annualized average returns. So that's a verifiable fact. So you can say, okay, because then you can look at that and say, okay, I can look that up and say if GTP is right about that. Oh, yeah, the stock performed on average that over 10 years annualized return growth average even with averaging down years, up to all the way up to 2021. Got it. That's good enough information because you don't need to worry about the last 2 or 3 years of the market when you're doing a long-term 10 years on top of annualized returns of good companies, especially when you pick a sector like healthcare, for example, or insurance or something like that, right? So you do that, and then you can go, okay, why did I pick 20%? Because if you can go over 20% and you invest $50,000, the compounding for 10 years of over 20% averaged out over 10 years is significantly high, which means you can compound that money to that's how you turn $50,000 into $500,000.
Yeah.
Compounding. So as long as you can
Yeah.
get that right and you pick a sector of the economy that's non-volatile, healthcare always wins. Energy always wins. You pick something non-volatile. I put it in ChatGPT and I can just keep telling it because I'm not asking it to pick individual stocks. I'm telling it to build me a portfolio based on data criteria and give me an outline. And the thing is, it doesn't have to guess. And then I say, if this does what it's done previously, meaning if it does what it did 10 years ago, at least that well over the next 10 years, what's my best case outcome? And my best case outcome is that even if it underperforms my expectations, it can't drastically underperform my expectations without an apocalypse. So it's a good bet for me for a long-term hold. So I'm like, oh, so then I apply that to different sectors of the market and everything. So for doing crap like that, yeah, that's how ChatGPT can make somebody rich, is if you know that the difference between you making money is understanding a math variable equation, it can solve for the math variable equation you want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, as a computer, it should be able to
But
do
that
math.
works for someone with money to invest, by the way.
I think the thing that definitely needs to be noted, though, as I highlighted in the chat, is that it does not know anything past 2021. So if you are asking to think about more current events and you're wondering why it's not giving you answers or whatever, there you go.
Yeah,
But I mean,
ChatGPT 4 will also be more robust and it'll be more current. And that comes out in a couple of months. But the thing is, for me, if I'm looking at long-term things, I need to know about the last 10 years. I don't need to know about the last 2, because the last 2 years I already know represent a market apparition, not normalcy.
right.
Everything is at rock bottom prices now. It's actually better for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy all these things at the cheapest price the stock has ever been. So it's like, I asked the same thing. And for safety, I asked it to put together the best Vanguard index funds for a safety.
Ooh.
And it turned out that one has, like, it is really good.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So like, I asked it this stuff and everything like that. So it's like, we can talk about anything you want with ChatGPT. I will say it's incredibly biased unless you jailbreak it.
Interesting.
If you want to ask it anything that has to do with politics, history even, or social commentary, it's incredibly biased. It's ridiculously biased. It was written by it was written by a young millennial or someone in Gen Z and everything like that was perpetually in college and everything like that. With their hippie ass professor. It was written by a damn hippie.
Yeah, as a trend is highlighting in the chat, everything that Roberto just said like 5 minutes ago, not financial advice.
Yeah, everything I just said is not Look, it's not my financial advice either. I'm getting it from the robot. Like, ChatGPT is my robo-advisor. I'm just using it as a robo-advisor. Robo-advisors have existed for a long time. I'm just aggregating it, but I'm strategic about aggregating it because I just know long-term investing, value investing. All I'm doing is asking it value investing. All I'm doing it is having it sit there and give me the same advice Warren Buffett would give me.
So I know that some creators have been using ChatGPT to write script for them, but what are some other things that you feel like creators could be taking advantage of with ChatGPT?
You can use it to write title formulas.
Okay.
You can use it to write title formulas. You can use it to make a title more readable and dumb a title down to a 5th grade reading level so that it's more accessible to a wider audience of people. You can ask it to write a description. If you're someone who sucks at descriptions, you can ask it to write a more SEO optimized description. And it is a master of SEO research. When you combine it with TubeBuddy or vidIQ, it's unbeatable.
Actually, vidIQ does have a chat GPT like tool called AI Coach that can do the very thing that Roberto just highlighted. So,
I've
yeah.
tested that AI coach and everything like that. I'll just say one thing: it's not a better coach than me.
No. That much is true, but it's pretty good though. It definitely gets some good stuff. All right, I wanna kind of shift gears a little bit. We always talk about Vid Summit and VidCon, but as a guy in your experience that's been to a bunch of different conferences, what are some of the other conferences out there that creators should be paying attention to, or maybe take a trip to?
People of Video, which is hosted by Dan Courier.
Yeah.
Very good, very intimate community. You get a lot of the same speakers you get at Vid Summit, but you get more access to them because they're not swamped by a crowd, and there's not a lot of the famous creators there, but you get a lot of experts. And you also get a lot of people in niches that might be more your niche that like may not be represented otherwise. And it is a slightly older, more mature crowd. So if you like don't want a bunch of like, screaming youngsters trying to see their favorite creator and everything like that, and you want to be able to talk more business, more tech, more strategy and stuff like that, People of Video is really solid. It's extremely solid. It's a great intimate community and everything like that. And we also have a good time. After the conference and everything, we all went to this place, I think it was called The Yard, out there because it's in upstate New York. And we went axe throwing. And your boy hadn't done axe throwing before. I've done knife throwing, but and I went axe throwing, and I picked it up instantaneously to the point where you saw the videos, Viper. I got to a point where I don't miss, and I got perfect form now. So I'm apocalypse ready with another weapon. I'm now armed with another projectile weapon that I can use for the apocalypse. So I'm like, I'm good.
The dangerous.
I'm there for your squad. I'm the guy you want on your squad.
Speaking of squad and whatnot, are you gaming at all? Are you playing any video games?
I have been mad productive. I have some video games. I got my stuff sitting there, but I haven't touched anything in a while, dude. I haven't even felt really compelled to since I've been back up on my content game a lot more. So I haven't really felt the need. The most I've picked up and done is like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. I got back on StarCraft.
StarCraft, okay.
A good old BattleNet. StarCraft, just yeah.
All right.
A friend has been trying to get me to come back to Overwatch. So,
ooh, interesting. So, obviously, like we talked about earlier, you are going to San Diego next month. Obviously, I think you're going to VidCon too, right? I think you said.
I'm thinking VidCon. I don't think I'll be speaking at VidCon, but I'm going for the networking.
Gotcha. Since I am so glad you brought that up. I've been meaning to ask him this for a while. I keep forgetting. Roberto, are you watching or are you aware of The Last of Us on HBO?
I'm aware of The Last of Us. I was planning to binge watch it maybe this weekend and everything like that. Like I said, I've been in productivity mode, so I have not been a consumer of most things.
Makes sense. But what I will say is that if you ever get a chance to sit down and just chill out, you should definitely watch The Last of Us.
Oh, no, I've been planning to. I've heard nothing but good things. It's like, so I see that it's up there. I've heard people say for them it's their Game of Thrones, so I totally get it. I didn't play the games, but I'm aware of the games and stuff like that. I actually think something, if they're going to be faithful to games, I think that a Red Dead Redemption show would be.
Oh man, that would be epic TV. Holy wow! I hope that happens. That'd be crazy.
That would be must see TV, my friend. That would be must see TV. Red Dead.
Amazon is actually making a God of War TV show, apparently.
I'm excited about that because I don't like
worried.
The way God of War is. They can't screw it up.
They
can't possibly screw it up.
Hope so, but I don't know.
It's mostly Kratos and Atreus.
Yeah.
So there's no room for them to screw it up, and they cannot politicize it. They can't, for lack of a better word, they can't pull a Velma and SJW it up. They can't screw it up.
Oh my God.
They can't pull a Velma. There's no way for them to be that bad. There's no way. Because the only way they can do it is if it's not God of War. Like, that's the only way to mess it up. Because it's impossible. All they have to do is just adapt the damn source material as writ and call it a day. As writ and call it a day. And you have enough diversity in the fact that Kratos is diverse by himself. And then I think you can pull that off with the Norse guards as well, the way that they did that. And with some of the monsters, it's fine. You can check some of your boxes without having to stretch the bounds of reality and bad writing. God, it's not that difficult. Just if you want, don't patronize people of color. If you want people of color, write actually good and it will be fine.
Yeah, James. I watched the first episode of that and I was just done. Like it was just so boring to me. I heard it got better.
They betrayed every freaking Tolkien fan. I swear to God. I swear to Christ. I wanted to like, like I unironically, like that's the kind of thing that makes you unironically root for Sauron. Not Sauron because of the way they writ him, but Sauron because you just want the worst things for everybody if they're going to go that way. And so it's like Sauron has to win now. Now I'm rooting for Sauron. Bring it. Like Mordor, make Mordor great again. Yeah, let's go. Like the like you start to really just want the bad guy to win. Like when you make a show, and it's not because the bad guy is a badass like Walter White or something like that or Gus Fring, it's that you just hate everything so much that you just want the worst for these characters now.
So I take it you were not a fan of the show.
Look, I'm a fan of the cinematography of the show. I'm a fan of the scope of the show. I think some of the actors and actresses did the best they could with what was written and did some tremendous performances. I want to take the writing team back out to the woodshed.
Oh man. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Yeah. So yeah, that like I said, I watched the first episode and I couldn't do anymore. I was just bored out of my mind. What about to say? March 1st, The Mandalorian season 3, baby. We back in the building. Baby Yoda back.
Yes.
Cannot wait for that.
Oh,
yes.
Talk about good writing.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Definitely can't wait for that.
Yes.
All right. We've been here for about 1 hour.
Did you ever go see? Did you see Avatar 2?
I'm not an Avatar person. No.
Okay. Yeah. I heard nothing but disappointing things. And that's sad to me because Avatar was so good, like when it first came out and everything like that. It was one of the last movies I saw with my grandmother as well and everything. So Avatar 2 is a disappointment from everything I've heard to where I have not even bothered to go see it. This is what I keep saying, man. They're also, that's another problem. When you get movies and then you make the people involved are so politicized to the point to where an entire group of people, even people who like the franchise, don't want to see it, that's just a bad move. Just make movies fun and enjoyable. There's a reason Top Gun Maverick was like killing it, is because it was just a fun, stupid movie you could go watch and not have to think too hard about it. And that's what movies are supposed to be, something you go and you watch and you either do think, but you're not thinking about the real world. You're thinking about this cool thing, like that's like, I mean, like John Wick doesn't do any commentary for the most part in the real world. It just takes you into this absurd world of this criminal underworld that is far removed from your own life and everything like that. And you get to see these shady characters and you get emotionally invested and it's so great, right? That's what movies should be. I'm not saying no movies can do social commentary. I think that I think writers today lack any subtlety. I think writers are tremendous. I don't think talented writers are being given a chance to write magnificent and interesting stories that have subtlety and depth and character development. I think all they want to do is shove things in your face, tap you on the nose, shove things down your throat, and that's intrusive and it's evasive and it's unappealing and it's not cool and no one's really interested in that. And then they're shocked and they get angry when it doesn't work out. Velma being like a really good example here. With that, it's like people would have loved an updated, slightly more adult Scooby-Doo animated series. People would have been down for that. They really would have. People could have watched a Scooby-Doo show that centers more around Velma. They absolutely could have. Not the garbage that we got that's not Scooby-Doo and not this garbage that is just nonsensical and everything like that. Because here's the thing, the team of writers for Harley Quinn did an excellent job. Mm-hmm. Harley Quinn as a show has gotten tremendous praise and people enjoy it. And it's genuinely funny. And, and it has viral clips for a reason. And people aren't panning it, they're enjoying it. The Joker in the Harley Quinn show is delightful. It's like it's one of the better portrayals of the Joker. Actually, it's hilarious. He's hilarious. There's a I'm not spoiling anything, but there is a "Where's my electric car, Bruce?" There's like a that's a clip from there because Bruce Wayne was supposed to deliver an electric car, and like the Joker put down a deposit. It's hilarious. Imagine the Joker cursing out Bruce Wayne because he put a deposit in an electric car and hasn't gotten it yet. There's like that's the hilarity you get. People, that's enjoyable, right? There's nothing enjoyable about the Velma show, except for the fact that united us all on the internet. It united the most divided culture and in the most divided time in America. We've all been united by one thing: our universal hate of how bad this show is.
And that is a terrible thing to unite people by. Hey, how
Yeah.
much they hate something. 'cause you know how that
Depends.
goes.
If we're gonna be united by anything, being united to universally trash a TV show, look, nature's healing.
You are wild. You are too wild. All right, you all. On that note, I think we're going to land the plane here. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in.
I think season 2's canceled.
I mean, the response that showed me, and I would hope it canceled. Appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate my man Roberto Blake making the time. So thank you, sir. Always a pleasure talking to you. Y'all go out there, enjoy your weekend. Be kind, be safe, enjoy your weekend, and I will catch y'all on the social media. Peace.